Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Magic Arena Run. We're gonna get to Magic Arena a bit shortly, but a little bit of a preamble of what our new 4-episode series is gonna be. This one is about the Challenger decks. So we had Challenger decks back in 2020. They came out early 2021 because of a delay. Then those were standard decks. We did a series on those. We then got a set of Pioneer Challenger decks last year. And now 2022, we're back again to standard with a set of 4 Challenger decks, all for standard. So what were the 4 meta decks that they considered at the time? Well, let's see. They got the mono white aggro, which is still around, so that nothing wrong with that one. There is one elephant in the room about this deck. We'll get to that shortly. Then after the mono white, we have Dimir Control, which is a reasonable choice. Also, I will also note that they did include cards from Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. There are some Kamigawa Neon Dynasty cards in the sideboard earlier in the mono white. We'll get to that. We have Gruul Stompy also making a big showing. And then we have Rakdos Vampires, which is well, it's Rakdos Vampires, but they do have a bit of a twist. It's actually quite interesting. I believe this is the one deck that has the most to gain from Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. I'm trying to see what. Yeah, it gains the most from there. Because pretty much everything else just gains stuff for the sideboard. But so it's pretty much the Vampires deck that gains quite the most from Neon Dynasty, but not quite a lot. They didn't really add a lot of Neon Dynasty cards, but they still added some. I will also note that they did add some double face cards. Well, let's see. Okay. I was pretty sure. Yeah, they did add some double face cards. We have Tovalar here. I believe the Rakdos Vampires has. Yeah, there's a copy of Enrica Domnati. Then the Dimir deck, I believe. Yeah, 2 copies of Juari Disruption. So they are adding some double face cards there. Even the mono white one has double face cards in the form of the Kabir Takedown and Redain God of the Worthy. I guess they probably used up the budget there because that's well we'll get to the mono white deck. Let's get to that right away. Let's get to the one major exclusion there, and it's also a good time to go over the elephant in the room with regards to that one deck. Now, they did not make any changes to the Challenger decks when you go to digital because they don't exist. They don't sell it as a product. I feel like it's a missed opportunity. Like if you sell the physical copy, throw in the code. Why not? Besides, most people will have most of the cards anyway, so it's not exactly a big loss, but it is a big benefit for those who are coming in. So first elephant in the room, the 3 copies of Faceless Haven, which are now banned. So a bit of an off timing. If you do buy the Challenger deck and you don't change any of the cards, you will be allowed to play with the 3 Faceless Havens. It's similar to the awkward fix that they did when they released a Challenger like pre-con deck back in the day, and they had to ban Stoneforge Mystic. So similar workaround there. Another thing that is of note is missing are Brutal Cathars. Now, I do appreciate the 2 copies of Skyclave Apparition, but it's important to note that there are a lot of tokens around, so having Brutal Cathar be able to exile a token and not have to worry about anything, also be repeatable exile if you can time it right, and it is easy to time it right. There are a lot of 1s and 2s here, so losing the Brutal Cathars is a bit does make it a bit kind of sad. You are really dependent on your early game. The one big bonus that this deck does have, they're pretty generous with the cards that they added. They definitely foresaw the enchantment sub-team, so they gave you 3 copies of Cathar Commando. I think they also foresaw quite a bit of rat effects, so there are 2 copies of... So there are some copies of Selfless Samurai. This is a bit of a dud against a lot of the incidental exile nowadays, so so that's a bit of a concern. So the Imperial Recovery unit is a way to get a lot of your value back. Though take note, it's creature or vehicle with mana value 2 or less, so it's pretty much Aspirants, Talia, your Intrepid Adversary, which is just a one-off, your 4 Clarion Spirit, your 4 Clarion Spirits. Well, you can also get the cheap stuff, but no one really wants to get those. So this actually does feel... It feels like an interesting starting point, but it also feels very weird. But that said, oh yeah, we probably should remove the 3 Faceless Havens. So right off the bat, I'm just gonna sub them in with 3 Cave of the Frost Dragon, because that's the pretty much 1-for-1 sub. If you have an Eiganjo Seat of the Empire, you definitely sub one of the planes with this one. Additional notes would be, try to find space for your brutal Cathars. I do like that they gave us a few copies of Fateful Absence. It's pretty decent as early game removal against certain matchups. Also, thankful they gave us a few portable holes as well. They didn't let us go ham on the removal here in Mono White. The Mono White build I run kind of went a lot deeper on the removal set. So here is what we're going to do. We're actually going to take this on a standard run and see how far it goes right out of the box. Then from there, we're going to make recommendations based on the gameplay we've seen. What are the things that we probably want to add? What are the things we probably want to change? Let's take advantage of this one. So there we go. We're going to take this out on the queue. It's hope for the best. So not the standard metagame challenge. I'm gonna be doing this over a series of weeks, so probably not gonna happen. We will do a traditional standard event. Hey, quite appropriate. Intrepid Adversary. Let's see if we can make this work. And let's make sure we bring the correct deck. Mono White Challenger, because we can't change decks after this. So with that, we'll see how far we go. So we spent 1,000 in, so ideally we get at least 2 wins out of two match wins. Well, we can if we can go further, that's pretty decent. But 2 match wins is going to be pretty much what we're aiming for here. So I'm going to show you the original deck list. Note that the Faceless Havens are banned. It's also not going to show the 1 mythic because of the way it's arranged. We have Codespell Cleric is awkward as the 1-drop. We're also missing another land, so this is also quite awkward. We're going to run this anyway. We'll probably do the turn to Aspirant. Now we have Codespell Cleric, Monk up the open hand. Talia as the 1-drop is also a consideration. Codespell Cleric is probably the most awkward of the 1-drops. Oh, we got Usher, so we'll run Talia. It should slow down any spell-based removal a bit. Opponent running Reckless Stormseeker. Yeah, it's not going to slow that down. And it's probably going to be a problem for us if our opponent's running Halana Alena. So oddly enough, we're in the awkward position where we are missing our land drops. We still want to hold on to Talia because it slows down any... Okay, it won't slow down creatures, but it will slow down some of the non-creatures. But yeah, if we can't draw a land, it's pretty much game here. I might as well play the 1 Clarion Spirit anyway. But yeah, this is a very inauspicious start. Missing out on land drops. In theory, we probably should have mulliganed that. We did have we did have the start with the we did have a Clarion Spirit start, so that was the temptation, but opponent not discarding. Opponent's gonna kind of go all in on the Moonveil region. Opponent's still not discarding. That does deal 2 damage, so it's a way to snipe. So we're gonna take 6. We definitely need to generate a chump blocker. And comes to play tap. That's why Faceless Haven is a lot better. We're going to go to the next match. So our opponent is very creature based. They do have a lot of incidental. They do have definitely will have 2 drops between Jasperis, Sentinel, and Magda. So the holes come in. Loyal Warhound is something I would probably put in second if we get a 3rd game, because we will be starting second. Maul of the Skyclaves does help us fight against. Will help us fight against incidental dragons and whatnot. We're definitely keeping the spirits. We need to make some cuts. As I said, the Codespell Cleric is the one I'm the least impressed with, but we might actually end up cutting Redain. Our opponent isn't exactly running snow-covered lands, so we're not gonna be sniping those. Our opponent also apparently not running any of the big non-creature spells. They probably might have a copy of Ren and 7. So we're definitely gonna play first. Again, another 2-lander, which is scary, but at least we have the Usher to start with. I will be very annoyed if all our losses come from the fact we could not draw any land. But it is the main weakness of mono white. We can't. Well, finally got a good one there. So we got we're gonna go Aspirant. We're going to. Our opponent might have Magda. We can't really do. We're not in exactly a position to do anything about it here. So next turn we have the option to go Spirit Monk, which actually. Oh, this is awkward. You actually want to play Monk first. If we can hit another 1-drop, we go Clarion. Otherwise, we go Monk into something else depending on what we draw. Opponent does have the Monk Aspirant helps. Gonna spread the love a bit. I actually want to, because our opponent is sitting on virtual 4 mana next turn. I want to force a cut down on this one. Yeah, we're losing value on the 1 Aspirant, but it will force our opponent to play a creature, and they won't be able to have the 1 mana sitting after that. Then we can probably ride the Maul. There's an Elite Spellbinder, which I probably want to do first. So opponent does have Ren and 7. Now we can take this. They can end up just playing it as a land anyway. We're gonna take the Goldspan because that's the bigger threat. So our opponent can deal 2 damage. We're gonna spread the love here. And that should do it. Even if they go for the burn plan. So we now know that we do want Redain. I probably also want the Loyal Warhound because we're gonna be going second. Thundering Rebuke, that's fine. Maul of the Skyclaves pretty much ends the game right. Well, technically, on board we can end the game right here. Yeah, let's not show them all quite yet. Yeah, there you go. Got the concession. Got at least one win out of that match. Now that we're going second for sure, we are gonna put the Loyal Warhounds in. Codespell Cleric's still fine. Talia is still fine, especially since we cut Redain. There is an argument for bringing at least one Redain back. The Maul of the Skyclaves, maybe not so much. That still want to keep some of these others. Paladin class helps us go wide, but I guess we can cut some of these. The portable hull we still want to keep it. It does answer Ren and 7 tokens. I'm trying to decide if I want to add one Redain back and to cut the third Paladin class. I guess having an extra flyer helps. Yeah. So, but I might end up just cutting the Kabira takedown instead. So, going to see how well we're doing here. It'd be nice to at least get one win. Okay, so also not running snow covered means we. Oh yeah, also an interesting note. I did preempt. These were all originally snow covered planes, but considering we can't exactly run the Faceless Haven, there is really no point running those. So we go Monk and into the hole. And if our opponent doesn't have a Cinderclasm like Sweeper, we can go Oh, we made a mistake though. We should have played the second cave with the Frost Giant. Oops. Frost Dragon, Frost Giant. We are going to play Talia. It's presumed that our opponent has a burn spell, so we want to force it out right away. Yeah, like that. That forces it out right away. We will swing with Usher because if they block with Jasper Sentinel, that means they are running low. That means they are kind of running low on mana. A little bit awkward that we did. Yeah, we really made a mistake by not playing the second cave. When it does have a moon, we are now behind on land, so we can actually just play Loyal Warhound. That should get us planes. And now next turn we can probably play double aspirant, have a 4-3 on standby. We can also just dump it on the Loyal Warhound, but if we don't pump Talia, it's a Dying Moonveil Regent. We have to assume our opponent will have at least another permanent at this point. Yeah, so we did goof up a bit there. We could have had a much better strategy. Yeah, we have to be very careful with these lands. These are not freebies. Opponent has a second Moonveil Regent. Does not discard their hand though. Okay, so we're now seeing the weakness of the Cave of the Frost Dragon. Also, we need to do a bit of math here because opponent has Gold Span. Now, if it's a 1 mana burn spell, oh wait, they will have 3 mana by this point. So yeah, we have to win. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 10, 11, 12, 13. Wait, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Hold on, we got it. So, probably put 1 on each. Woo! We barely made it. Okay, after that one goof up, we still somehow made it. The Fateful Absence would not have bought us time, but Yeah, it's a good thing. And to think that I actually started cutting down paladin classes. Okay, I'll keep it in mind not to cut. Actually, it depends. Because we have to remember that the paladin class is a bit of a non-bow with some of our stuff, like Maul of the Skyclaves. I might probably choose to... If I keep the paladin classes, I should cut them all. Now, the Mauls... So I did have the right idea. I still kept that one paladin class, though. It turned out to be clutch. So don't junk that one. I'm already starting to consider, like, take note that those were a lot of force. The Moonveil regions we could definitely catch with Skyclave. The Goldspan Dragon not without help. We would definitely have needed a brutal Cathar. Same would be true with Ren and 7. There are a good number of mid-range and control matchups where control matchups brutal Cathar is not necessarily better. The brutal Cathar does have the advantage of, say, being able to take out an animated blue giant land. In fact, it could take out the blue Hall of the Storm Giants if provided your opponent is willing to cooperate with you. Yeah, it takes a lot of things to line up correctly there. But it's still an option. Personally, I've kind of fallen out of favor of the quick mono white, but with a lot of decks starting to head towards mid-range again, between the enchantment decks, the ninjutsu style decks, a fast aggro might not actually... Maybe fast aggro is the way to go again. So yeah, so that one ended in a wipe. I guess it also helped that I've been playing a lot of mono white, though in that last moment. Yeah, in that last moment, Intrepid Adversary would also have been a good fit as well. You definitely will be adding it looks like all the challenger decks have limited themselves to like a single mythic. I might be wrong. Like our single mythic in mono white is the Intrepid Adversary. In the Demir deck, it is Hullbreaker Horse are rare. What's the mythic here? This one's slightly awkward. It does at least Usher of the Fallen is kind of like an army in a can, so we can take it. Yeah, this would be in theory too many lands to be good. Also, remember, play Cave of the Frostdra, because we'd like to have the option between a turn 3 Redain and a turn 3 take something of our opponents down. And it does have the Hopeful Initiate. We'll offer the trade. See if our opponent takes it. Opponent takes it, so we will trade out with tokens. So we're in the lookout for any X2s that we follow. That's a good one, for example. So we can now follow it up with an Usher. And we might as well take it down now. So next turn we will have the option between just dropping Redain or probably the option is to drop Redain. Not so sure I wanted to put all the eggs in that basket. I could have easily just put it on the Usher, though opponent probably would have just blocked. Fleeting Spirit. This is an interesting addition. But right now, the main plan is to just keep beating upstairs with Redain. Now, we are kind of putting all our eggs in the Redain basket with these Cold Spell Clerics. So not too happy with that. We are missing 2 more lands to start activating Cave of the Frost Dragon. That's probably the big difference. So opponent being cute. Swings with a 4/4. We'll take the 1. Now opponent has 3 creatures in the yard, so actually attacking into Fleeting Spirit is awkward. Yeah, I was right in the Redain basket being an issue there. We're gonna hold. So, but now that we know our opponent is in this kind of mono-white plan, we definitely want Portable Hole. We definitely want... Opponent has Wandering Emperor. Okay, that is one of the newer additions.
I'm not overconfident.
We kind of have no choice around it, but that's it. That is how it goes.
I've got new moves to teach you.
We take a bit of hits. One more land we won't be able to snipe the Emperor. Yeah, like our best bet is just to kind of swing for now. Because our opponent is probably just going to make us a 4/4 anyway. Either one of these. So we're just going to try to see how many other cards our opponent has. Opponent is closer to mid-range though. So we...
Let your play.
No, I will note, Paladin class is a good counter to this. So... yeah, we're not going to get past that with the Intrepid Adversary this late. So we have to be a lot faster. So the Paladin class is actually going to be kind of good because it neuters some of... it will neuter effects like their Wandering Emperor. It's non-creature, right? Yes. No, it's all spells your opponent's cast. So the Maul of the Skyclapes comes in. Talia is actually the awkward one now, so we're actually going to cut her. Imperial Recovery Unit. We definitely want to add the Portable Hole. Slow down our opponent a bit. Selfless Samurai. When the Samurai or Warrior control attacks alone, we don't exactly have that many warriors. Like Intrepid Adversary is a scout. We have Monk, Cleric. The Usher of the Fallen is a Spirit Warrior. So that's a... and it does work with Faceless Haven if it were still around. Yeah, so we're going to cut the Code Spell Clerics this a bit. The Monks are generally better here. I'm considering between running the... I did not see many enchantment base, so no, I couldn't put in the Cathar Commando quite right away. Imperial Recovery Unit also a bit awkward here. We'll run it like this for now. Not sure how good this is, but yeah, it looks like it looks like definitely Wandering Emperor is a considerable addition. Actually, now I think of it, I probably should not have cut the Talia. We will keep this first. So probably play the takedown first. We don't have to play a 1-drop right away. Then turn 2. Actually, it really depends. We're more likely to hit a 1-drop than a 2-drop. We'll play here. When it does have their 1-drop. So whenever you cast your second spell, so now we have an interesting game of with our instants. So Cave Dragon came late. We will play Clarion Spirit. We will play Paladin class. If nothing happens to our creatures, we have the option to Kabira take down something. Luminarch Aspirant. Opponent's gonna end up with an X4, which is kind of fine. Because we can pump, okay. This is awkward, but I think the best bet is to slow down their Aspirant. Not so sure if that's correct. Yeah, also pay attention to the lands our opponents play. So opponent's going for a 6, but holding back. If they have one more mana, they can go for the double strike. Well, they do have it now. They're going for the double strike plan. So that is 14 damage. Oh, but they're still holding back. I might as well play this now because I am going to need blockers. Yeah, it's a... Okay, looks like a bit of an awkward matchup. Opponent does have the Intrepid Adversary now. Into a Maul of the Skyclaves. I figured they would have one of those. Sure, it's a follow-up. That's... So now we just need a way to... This is going to be awkward. Our best bet is probably to actually just take the... Go down to 6. Now the problem is our opponent gains 7. The land flood is kind of what kills. Is kind of what's going to kill us here. So if I swung with all these, opponent blocks one of the smaller ones. We do 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, but they go back up to 6. And this also has first strike too. Yeah, it's just kind of unfortunate that we did not hit what we needed. I could give something double strike, but it just gets chumped by the Usher. Unless I give the Spirit double strike. Which means they both trade off. These guys hit on the ground, our opponent still wins there. Yeah, no. Opponent choosing to block something else. Yeah, that was not enough. So what could we have done better? Draw something other than lands. There would be one. Another note would be that 2 portable holes is probably not enough on the sideboard. Haven't gotten against the enchantment matchups yet, but I would argue that you probably want to have. I might cut down the number of Cathar commandos, just up the number of portable holes, because the aggro matchups are the ones where you really need those holes. That sounded wrong. So we did not do that well on that particular match. We could have held back on the Kabira takedown. It would have meant taking a lot of beats from the other Luminarch Aspirant, but that might have been a better play. Being able to, so probably holding, so not firing off that Kabira takedown right away would have been something, though. How are we supposed to know we're gonna get flooded? Anyway, so slightly awkward, but we are gonna go for Usher turn 1 as usual. Turn 2 most likely Boast, unless we can hit another 1 mana spell, because it's kind of a waste to... The Code Spell Cleric is probably the weakest of the... super awkward. Yeah, I would probably rather just... I'd rather just make a token here. Because if our opponent goes to draw cards, I can just Skyclave Apparition this out of the way. Okay, so even better, we can we can kind of delay things. Right. Now, if I cast this one, we won't get anything out of it because that would be our third spell. So let's see. Does our opponent have Meat Hook on 1? They might actually wait. Nope, they're just gonna go poison the cup. So interesting. Well, not. No, it's kind of a given choice. I wouldn't call it that interesting per se. And they're casting it on their own turn, so we're gonna take 2. We now have the Skyclave Apparition to nuke 1 Warlock class. Cold Spell Cleric. I have to assume our opponent has a Meat Hook Massacre, so I feel more comfortable letting the Skyclave Apparition live rather than just get the 1 damage in immediately. If they have spot removal, then it's kind of fine too. Let's assume that's another Poison the Cup. Opponent might go for card draw. No, they're just foretelling away. So with that in mind, I don't have a reason to Skyclave Apparition the second one quite yet. There we go. Got. Opponent had a heavy removal set, but so we're going second. Loyal Warhounds come in. Portable Holes come in. Talia definitely stays. Elite stays. Our opponent's been playing regular swamps, so I might cut the Redain for now. We will probably bring it back in. As usual, the Cold Spell Cleric gets cut. Opponent has a lot of removal. We can use this as a time to try Imperial Recovery Unit. I'm also gonna probably try cutting the Fateful Absence. This might be a mistake. So we're gonna try 1 unit, 1 Cathar Commando. We'll probably run it like this. Our opponent does have a lot of spells. If we can force them to cast it, there's also an argument for, say, cutting the Paladin class a little bit, but if we can force them to run spells on their turn instead of our turn, it does help our decision making. How confident am I on this deck? Probably the mix of, not exactly in the mix of cards. The concept is definitely sound. Okay, so depending on what our opponent does, we might actually just do. Oh, but take note, this is it's an enters the battlefield trigger, so opponent actually let us go first. Okay, Paladin class it is then. So we can actually just do Talia if for lack of anything else. Our opponent actually is black red, so something to keep in mind. Maybe, yeah, our opponent has a propensity for non-creatures so far, so we're gonna use Talia to slow it down. We can just use Cathar Commando later. The annoying thing is that it also slows down our portable hole. So we ideally hit our third land. Hotels. Double Cold Spell Cleric is kind of a thing. We'll use it to pump up Talia. She's the more vulnerable one. Like if our opponent did a foretell, they would have to spend all their mana. So I would rather it get taken out by Cinder class. Okay, so yeah, this is where we really need to hit our land now. Once again, we're losing to the lack of land. So we know our opponent has Cinder class, and we should keep that in mind. I don't think there's a way we could have protected from that. Definitely need to hit our third land soon. Our opponent's already at 5 mana, so okay, going for Blood Price. Interesting choice. So it probably means I might want to cut the Cold Spell Clerics when we go to the third match, if we get a third match. Okay, finally hit our third land. So now our opponent does have spot removal, but I feel it's probably better to just because we can go wide, but we know they have Cinderclass. Better to just make them spend their removal that way. The nice thing is that we are making our opponent spend it on their turn. Okay, sadly we will play the Intrepid a bit early. Our opponent has not exactly played any actual interaction yet, so maybe the portable hold is Sprout. It's possible. Now that's actually an interesting question. What is the mana value? Well, we'll find out. I think we don't. Yeah, we don't get to choose it, but we have a creature on board, so our opponent will have to remove it. What did they take? No, that was our Intrepid Adversary. So they're just gonna exile cards off the top. They took an Elite Spellbinder, so that's a bit annoying. We can't exactly portable hold that either. They do have another Blood Price. Yeah, so this apparently is a fast Tibalt deck. So if somehow we get another game, we're gonna cut the portable holes. Tergrid Shadow. Yeah, I think our opponent might just get us on the back of the Tibalt. So the Skyclave Apparitions by themselves are probably not sufficient. It does give us... There are better options now, though, so... Let's see how our opponent probably just keeps taking cards off the top. But yeah, this is a very interesting route. Yeah, it so happened that because we're so vulnerable as a go wide deck, it is a problem. So at least we now have a target for our portable hole. Intrepid Adversary is probably the better one in the long term. Yeah, you're not gonna be able to pay that. But we do need to hit lands. Yeah, I guess cutting the Fateful Absence was a mistake. Why did I put... Opponent... Thankfully, well, they're gonna draw 4 cards, but they are gonna dome themselves a bit. So... we can accept that. Besides, we know we can take out their life gain. So the plot twist now is, can we hit our opponent for 5 in the air? We can hit our opponent for 4 with Cave of the Frost Dragon. We just need to hit... Well, maybe not anymore. Opponents who don't play enough spells. Or not. They are foretelling everything. Also, does our opponent not remember that it's actually hard, that they can't actually target us? So we actually need to hit the land. Well, we hit the Skyclave Apparition. I guess that counts. So we can use this to buy time, take out their Spellbinder. I'm really curious. Okay, 6. So this cave is not gonna get past enough. Opponent goes for the poison, but that is our creature, so we get a. We're the ones who get the tree. Oh, 4/4. Sorry. Oh no, tree because some paladin class pumps it. We kind of needed that plane, so opponent ends up with a sword. Sword the Mirthless makes it harder also for us. They did cast one spell. They're gonna cast a second spell, start getting spirit tokens, which we can also just level up the paladin class here, force our opponent to start chump blocking.
Violence is necessary to set things
I hope
right.
they go for the card draw? No. Of course they go for the token first. That's kind of the standard operating procedure.
You will serve me well.
Sure. Okay, that. Let's see if they have the spot removal that is 1 mana. Because it's my turn, they would need at least 4 mana. There's a tax of 2 mana because of the paladin class. Opponent could exile the portable hole, I guess. Oh, they're gonna gain life. So 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Actually, that does it. Yeah, so this matchup did not pan out very well for us here. Yeah, wait, that was just the. Oh wait, we won the first one. Oh yeah, I forgot. We have one more shot. Okay, so first things first, the portable holes can go. Talia's definitely stay. Fateful Absence comes in. Actually, Redeem now comes in because we now know they have they have expensive stuff. Recovery unit can go. Cathar Commando can go. Code Spell Cleric, still fine, I guess. Unfortunately, Selfless Samurai just gives Indestructible. Maul of the Skyclaves is something I would consider. What our opponent had is basically mass removal over anything else. I guess this is fine. We just have to be faster. Oh yeah, we can. The Loyal Warhounds can kind of go now. So we can actually put back. Let's actually put some Sun Gold Sentinels. Not so sure how the. Actually, yeah, I think I do. I want to have some creatures with at least 2 toughness. Our opponent does have a lot of sweepers, so we need to keep that in mind in the way we boost our creatures. Our opponent's definitely on the dual strike package as well, so we are a bit disadvantaged. So we are kind of disadvantaged there. I think our best bet is just Usher into Boast. Hold off on the Aspirant for now. Opponent still has some spot removal, but not quite a lot. But yeah, they swapped in for all their sweepers. So pretty much the main trick now is to keep Redain alive. Which might have been an argument for the Selfless Samurai, I suppose. Yeah, that probably would have been the right time to bring in Selfless Samurai instead of the Sun Gold Sentinel. So that's a mistake on our part. Also of note, our opponent's mana base is on the cheap side. We note that they're using a lot of Bloodfell Caves instead of Pathways. So our opponent's probably grinding, uh, grinding for gold, which is probably, which I would say, yeah, that is a good choice. Opponent did have to take a maul. We are kind of fingers crossed for a third land though. Or another one drop would be fine. Actually, this is the time we go Luminarch Aspirant. Reason being is that our Cinderclasm at X equals 2 requires 3 mana. This is where we get problems. So we're not gonna Now I have a choice between definitely not playing this, but I don't think our opponent's gonna be able to fake. So we're gonna just make another token. We might convince our opponent to prematurely fire off their crush. Nope, just poison the cup, so now we can start spreading stuff onto the Aspirant. Finally hit our third land. So we're gonna play it safe first. We're gonna go Elite Spellbinder, see what they have. So Tergrid Shadow, Double Blood Price, Professor Onyx. We're going to delay the Shadow. So our opponent's next turn will probably be just... Oh, they're not even paying for Blood Price. No, opponent just conceded. I'm sure that was weird. But yeah, they conceded that one. So we managed to... I was so convinced we lost the second... That we lost the first game, so we were on the ropes in the second game. I find it's kind of easy to forget your wins. Apologies to our opponent there. Hey, Chaos Channeler. No, we probably drafted that card. So we did make our gold back, so nothing gets wasted. But so everything else now is pure profit at this point. Let's see if we can get far. So as far as a prepackaged, as far as prepackaged decks go, this could be better, but it's not bad. Oh yeah. So what are the ways we can do to? I'm still thinking what are the other changes we can do. Like we're not hitting certain matchups. It's the Imperial Recovery unit's probably the one that's kind of awkward. I guess it makes sense as anti-control, so there is that. This is slightly awkward. I probably just play the takedown. No, if we don't have to play takedown on one, we don't. We'll just run the Paladin class right away. Opponent does run Snowlands, so Redain is gonna be good. If our opponent just holds up 2 mana, I might just pump Paladin class here, so having Redain as a 3/4 would be fine. I would also note that, okay, interestingly enough, yeah, we're just going to pump. Don't see a reason to hold up for Fateful Absence quite yet. The idea here is that if our opponent can Jawari Disruption, let's not walk into that. I'm trying to remember now if there is Spell Pierce, which is... Though Spell Pierce would cost 2, but it would ruin our Retain. So now a Spell Pierce would cost 3 on our turn. This actually might be a mill deck. Which would mean that stuff like Redain might not. Okay. Let's see if they have the cheap counter after all. So opponent is not running Snowlands, which means no Frostbite and whatnot. So opponent figuring out. I could just play the Usher of the Fallen, but that, well, we are kind of protected from. Yeah, we'll play that one. We are kind of protected from a burn down the house. If our opponent has a Goldspan Dragon, well, we can block it, I guess. Opponent might just go for Bouncing Redain now. Jawari, they do have the Jawari Disruption, so that's actually a good use for it, I guess. So what's their follow-up? They can't cast the Burn Down the House. We're actually super vulnerable if this is a mill deck, so something to keep in mind. Opponent might just try to bounce this away. If it's a Goldspan Dragon, they can't exactly attack into it either. Well, I can't exactly Skyclave Apparition it either also. But forcing our opponent to cast everything on their turn is really great. I'm actually tempted to just attack first, then if nothing happens, like no bounce or anything, then I just level 3 the. I would prefer to level 3. Prismari command draws and makes a treasure, so semi-desperation mode. We will have a better idea what our opponent's deck is. This Spikefield Hazard. Okay, this might just be the regular version. This because there's this new one running, making the rounds. The Magma Opus Hinata combo. Very big potential. I must add. Okay, let's play the Aspirant now. We will put the counter in Redain. If probably they might be able to bounce it now with. Okay, no bounce quite yet. We'll attack because they have exactly the mana for a Fading Hope. Though by holding it like this, we do get to cast it again. We just end up losing the +1/+1 counter. Okay, sure. Opponent does get a Scry. They like what they see, so something to keep in mind. Opponent is probably reaching for Hullbreaker Horror mana, so let's keep the Fateful Absence on standby too. Now the Hullbreaker Horror will cost 7, but any spells that they try to cast on our turn will not be cheap. So that's pretty much our small advantage in this case. We've yet to do damage to our opponent, so that is a main bit of concern there. Opponent probably plays that as a land. Oh, and they played the land already, I think. Spread the love a little bit. Yeah, I guess we hold back. So we're definitely keeping the Paladin classes. We're gonna keep Talia as well. I still have no idea what their big creature is that I'm pretty sure it's Hullbreaker. Oh, it is Goldspan. Okay, let that resolve. If they swing, no, they don't. Okay, so we know it's dragons. So we know it's probably gold span, so definitely not portable hold. We're going second, so definitely the Loyal Warhounds come in, Cold Spell Clerics come out, Mauls come in. Skyclave Apparition probably comes out for now. We're kind of relying on Fateful Absence and Kabira Takedown, which is a bit awkward here. Yeah, that's kind of why I prefer to have Brutal Cathars as an option. Yeah, we'll see how this goes. And not too convinced that this is the right way around it, but okay, just take a deep breath and keep calm. Carry on. Right after this, I need to do a video for the Exceeds event in the Master Duel. I chose the shtick of taking all the structure decks that they give you for free if you follow the storyline quests. Unfortunately for the Exceeds deck, the one that was interesting, the Gadgets deck, they did not give a free structure deck, and the one that is plain horrible, the Digital Bugs deck, that was the one they gave the structure deck. The reason I say it's horrible is because it has no natural way of getting multiple cards down to jumpstart your special summons. You're for the most part playing very honest Yu-Gi-Oh, aka losing Yu-Gi-Oh. So bringing it back to Magic, the concept of a very okay, so definitely keeping this one. Now we have some choices here. Now we have to remember our opponent probably sided in burn spells at turn burn spells that wipe the board at 2, so we're probably gonna just go. Okay, we're gonna go Monk first. Turn 2, we're gonna go Usher, Code Spell. We're gonna dump everything onto this Monk here. Our opponent might have a particular burn spell to take care of that, so be it. They might actually have the burn spell now. Okay, not patient. They are going for the burn spell now, which means we can go Usher into Cold Spell and probably put it here. Next turn, we're probably gonna have to play the Kabir Takedown if we don't draw planes. We're gonna go Elite Spellbinder for certain, especially since our opponent just went Expressive Iteration to dig. So Kabira Plateau, that's the backside. Opponent forced to play Juari as in the backside too. So no Elite Spellbinder quite yet. Also, we have to assume our opponent will hit the 4th red. So basically, we're just making sure we don't lose our entire board to a sweeper. I'm okay losing the Usher to a single burn spell. There is a significant difference between the two. Anyway, if our opponent does have to go, okay, they might not have this. They might have a Cinder class and base sweeper then. Yeah, we end up losing 2, but that was still kind of the plan. I had to hedge our bets that our opponent does, in case our opponent hits a second red source. Opponent does have singular removal instead. So we're gonna go Elite Spellbinder. Let's see what Hullbreaker, Memory, Behold. So tons of card draw. Of course we take the Hullbreaker. So our opponent will have a second red source. They might have top decked a Burn Down the House by this point. In which case, remember that Maul the Skyclaves would just make this an X5. So, okay, opponent's still missing. Oh, they're actually refusing to play this as red. They're just gonna go for the Deluge immediately. I bet they're digging for a Fading Hope to buy some time. Okay, life gives you Maul the Skyclaves. Spread this. Oh, that's actually it. So our opponent kept a our opponent kept a really slow hand. That was super. I think they were hoping to hit something off the expressive iteration, but no, they just hit all their draw spells. So there we go. I was expecting the Cinder Classums. I would say our previous opponent had a better sideboard than our current, or let's be fair, they probably had it on sideboard. They just never drew into it. So we've actually made close to half our money back. And then no, we made our money back and are now making a profit of about half. So pretty good. And we still have 2 more matches left. I just remembered how long these games last. Unfortunately, I don't do traditional because though I probably should. I don't do it in my actual grind because time is just not that. Oh well. I could pray that I draw into a second land, but let's. Oh wow. Okay. Now this is a good, easy decision to make, though. Yeah, that was super unfortunate, but two one-landers are it's just plain not keepable. Now we actually have a choice between Aspirant right away or just make a token. Opponent is blue-red again. Okay, remember to play the cave first. Yeah, we'll just go making tokens. Our opponent probably just bounces it, I guess. If they have removal, it's fine. Dragon's Fire. Okay, that's fine. So we will play another Usher. We could have played the Luminarch Aspirant, but okay. No, this is not the same. This is not the same opponent as last time. Opponent is having better luck hitting their stuff, though. I honestly don't like this. Though thankfully our opponent did not have a single mana response. Now this is still not great. There is usually like 1 or 2 copies of Cinderclasm in main. But then again, I can. Opponent is taking their time. I am gonna stack everything on this Usher though. Yeah, I figured they'd have a Cinder class. Yeah, there was no outs to that. We were already considerably behind at this point. Our only beatdown now is just gonna be this Cave of the Frost Dragon. We can use this time to determine if our opponent is playing dragons or if they're playing any sort of big hull breaker. This might just be a hull breaker deck though. If this is similar to the previous deck, there's Dragon's Fire, so there's definitely dragons, at least in mid-range. So there's the Gold Span. So definitely want to have Talia and Paladin. Ugh. Let's see if our... Yeah, very weird use. Because that actually... Yeah. Yeah, we were... Okay, that's enough. Two dragons does it. Like, we could hold on a bit, but the mana's... Yeah, let's be honest, we were catching up from a mall. So Skyclapes comes in, apparitions come out, selfless samurais come in, we can cut 2 code spell clerics this way. Yeah, we'll give the samurais a fair shake. I kind of wish there was more synergy between them, but well, at least we have a long shot in gaining life, and we do have a selfless savior replacement. So there is that. We have to assume our opponents now loading up going wide though. So they will definitely have a lot more board wipes this time around. That said, okay, I guess we're gonna lead on turn 1 Usher. They might have the Spike Field Hazard, but that's fine. Turn 2 Kabira take down Paladin class. Then turn 3 we can either go for Talia or Luminarch Aspirant. I probably go for Talia. No, it just means both of them get wiped. Let's see if our opponent just goes for the removal right now. Dragon's Fire on their own turn. There's an argument for just going Paladin class, pumping Paladin class to keep some of these smaller ones out of the way. I'm gonna go with the Aspirant first because it's at least better. It's slightly better at protecting itself. Slightly, not so much. Yeah, opponents got all the burn. Yeah, this might be awkward. We probably should have done the Paladin class first. Yeah, wow, did they just have a... They must have kept the hand with lots of burn? Though here in this case, a single Cinder class is a problem, so... Best bet is to just play Maul the Sky. No, safest bet is to play Paladin class. Just pump it by 1. Our opponent can Cinder class, oh no, they can't Cinder class them, but they can still do direct burn, which would be awkward. They could also bounce. No, they're electing not to. Are they gonna go for a quick dragon? Yeah, they're going for the quick dragon. I don't like the idea of giving them yet another treasure. They're actually gonna let that go. They could counter this. Choosing not to. They could now bounce this. Actually, not quite. They could draw a card. They're choosing not to. I think they have a second Goldspan Dragon in hand. Burn down the house. Okay. So we can go Clarion Spirit, Luminarch Aspirant. Definitely want to start pumping the Spirit though. If our opponent has a second burn down the house, that's kind of over. Opponent now has 7 mana though, so that's Hullbreaker horror territory. They had the other foot burn down the house, of course. Of course. Now, to be fair, we did not draw a Cave of the Frost Dragon either, so I can't be doing woes about the lack of Faceless Haven here. Faceless Haven is what made this deck a lot more potent than it had every right it deserved, every right to be. Memory they lose, so opponent doing it. Okay, the mana tax would have just been 1, so they must be digging for something specific if they're willing to cast this now. Okay, they got their 4th land, 4th mana now if I'm counting the treasure. They might just sack this. I don't like having to do this now. Opponent probably has a burn spell in response. That's the nature of this kind of control. But I have to do this anyway. Force them to use it up, because I can't just keep holding on to this forever either. But yeah, it does illustrate the one key weakness of mono white. If I draw Cave the Frost Dragon, I wouldn't be able to swing with it anyway. But we did survive 1 dragon. Oh. Just as I predicted, we did draw the Cave of the Frost Dragon. Now, we wouldn't have had the mana for this anyway, so most likely what we will do is we will just... I guess we just try to fight back, because this becomes a 4/5. It swings for 8. We're not equipping this anytime soon, though. We're kind of dead to a lot of things anyway, so... yeah, our run ends here, but... this is the best that we can do. They definitely have something. Also note that they could have just activated this anytime soon. So yeah, that's a good game. I would say check the... yeah, they did have 1 Cinder Classroom, but they used it as a 1-for-1. The burn down the house was definitely the key feature there. We kind of had ways to catch up. This probably would have been the match to bring in. This probably would have been the match to bring in the Imperial, the vehicle. So that is something to keep in mind. The vehicle probably would have been a good idea as a way to get to start recovering stuff back. So we will keep that in the back of our heads there. So overall, how would I rate this deck? It's out of the box pretty much okay. Out of the box is unplayable. You have to replace the Faceless Havens. That said, you have choices between Cave of the Frost Dragon and Eiganjo Seat of the Empire. Maybe instead of 3 of these, I might just do 2-1. Ideally we do 3-2 and we cut. Ideally we do a 3-2 and we just cut the planes. We probably don't want to have that many planes. Without Emeria's wait, what's that? We're gonna have to go all the way to the end. Emeria's Call as an additional land would be an option, but that is adding mythics. I would only add these if I happen to have them. So what other things could we recommend here? One, we need to decide, because there is because this is the super aggro plan. It dies to board wipes. So like if you've seen most of the games, if I was not afraid of Cinder Classroom, I was afraid of Meat Hook Massacre. Those are the 2 main issues there. So if this is not to your liking, The alternative plan would be Stonebinder's Familiar. Yeah, Stonebinder's Familiar is a one spell. It would be replacing the Code Spell Cleric or the Monk with the Stonebinder's Familiar, and have and add more ways of exiling cards. You definitely want to add a lot of new exile stuff, so max out either the Spellbinders, definitely try to make room for Brutal Cathar. In fact, I probably would have some in the sideboard. Talia might be better off as a sideboard option. It is pretty good as a 2-1 combo, but if you're lightening up on the 2-1 plan and just going for more trees, then that would be the way to do it. I would caution on going that route though, because you're not playing Alchemy. We're not playing with Inquisitor Captain, so you really need to have a very aggressive one punch, at least even starting on turn 2. That's kind of the plan there. So that said, Redain probably still main deck worthy. I probably would just max out as many Intrepid Adversaries as I can. I can use it to replace some of the 1-drops, or I could replace the Talia with it at least for the time being. And put the Talia in the sideboard. Cards that Sun Gold Sentinel, really a good decent sideboard card. Portable Hole actually feels main deckable, but okay, the Cathar Commando hasn't exactly proven its worth quite yet. If you want to have repeatable artifact enchantment removal, actually that's the caveat. You kind of want it to be repeatable. You're looking at cards like Hopeful Initiate. Yes, it's another rare, but well, that's the nature of the game. You kind of want to load up on your rares. Curse of Silence would be an interesting sideboard card, because being able to tax your opponent's cards is one thing. It's kind of why you want to max out Elite Spellbinder. The Maul of the Skyclaves did some good work in that one particular matchup, but I'm not so sure if I would want it all the way in the end. But there you go. That's pretty much the analysis of the Mono White Challenger deck. I am starting to believe that even though well, it's kind of a hard guess. The reason it's difficult is because there are some matchups that are showing up to be much better, much more prevalent. We are getting the black-red artifact matchup. We are getting the green-white enchantment matchup. So having a Skyclave Apparition is starting to bring up its value again. That mono-white deck that was closer to mid-range is a reasonable option. I probably would not run 20. We're functionally at 25 lands with the Kabira Takedown. I might end up just cutting the Kabira Takedown for an additional land and just tweak it, knowing that I don't have an early game. I have a mid to late game. So that would be the deck that will want the Redains, the Talias, all the exile effects, Skyclave, Brutal, Elite Spellbinder. So you can easily drop the Clarion Spirit, the Code Spell. You can drop most of the 1-drops except for maybe the Paladin and Usher. So that would be the alternate way to do it. If you have, so we're looking for we're actually looking for mythics again. Wandering Emperor. We're looking for Yo, the Dawn Sky. That would be one way to adjust it towards that. I will also of note, as far as removal is concerned, where is that Touch? Touch the Spirit Realm would be an addition I would consider on the sideboard as well. You can actually do this as a defensive spell if you don't have to remove something. Like in that last matchup, there were so many board wipes. This would have been a decent protective spell. So there we go. That's going to be it for this episode of the Magic Arena Run. If you like what you saw, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, turn on notifications and whatnot. Yeah, the challenger decks by themselves are they will win games. will they take you all the way to Mythic with great difficulty? Out of the box with great difficulty, definitely you want to make changes. But it does give a very good blueprint, white print, and that's kind of how I treat these decks. So basically, we take a look at these decks, see what are the cards that probably should go, what are the cards that could stay, what are the new ideas we could get, and that's how we learn. So there you go. Thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you guys again next time. Take care. God bless. Stay safe wherever you are. Have a great week, everyone. Take care.